In both Alien vs Predator and AVP Requiem, the movie's main antagonists were the Xenomorphs, and their stories revolved around preventing them reaching the main human population centres. In the first movie, they had to stop them reaching the surface and escaping Antarctica. The final battle saw the last Human and Yautja teaming up to defeat the alien queen. And in the sequel, the Xenomorphs began infesting the town of Gunnison, and a single Predator was tasked with stopping their spread. Once the military realised the threat, they bombed the town in order to stop them. But what would happen if these efforts failed, and instead of dying, the aliens won? Each film had different individual Xenomorphs who served as main characters, so to speak. These were the Grid Alien, the Queen, and the Predalien. Grid was the name given to the alpha drone of the Antarctic Xenomorphs after the grid pattern cut into its carapace by a constricting predator net weapon. Grid was the dominant drone who had a higher level of intellect than the others and was even deadlier than a normal drone. Grid killed and harvested a number of the human explorers as well as 2 of the 3 predators known as Chopper and Celtic, and then freed the Queen. Grid was killed in the explosion from the Scar Predator's self-destruct. So in order for Grid to survive the movie, the Predator would have to have not set the self-destruct, so maybe if him and Lex didn't meet, and he couldn't get his shoulder cannon back from her, then when Grid and the others ambush him, he wouldn't have been able to fend them off and they would have killed him. This would have been just before the Queen called out for them, so then that would have happened after they kill Scar, and then they'd go free her afterwards. Then they would probably begin building a hive inside the pyramid, but when no more hosts are available, I think some drones would begin to explore outward in search of more hosts, and as Grid is the lead drone, I think she would be one of them. And then they'd find the ice tunnel leading them to the surface. I think then they'd start looking for hosts and use the local wildlife to bring back to the hive and impregnate. There were penguins on the island, so maybe there would be some bigger animals like seals or something as well. And as well as that, there was also the Wayland Industries ship, so they might send a search party to search for the humans, who the Xenomorphs would then capture and use as hosts, or the Xenomorphs might find the ship and enter it, and then use the humans on board for hosts. Or perhaps Grid and a few other drones would have climbed on board, and then the ship sets off back to where it came from, and it would be like the first Alien movie but on a sea ship instead of a spaceship, and if the crew can't kill the aliens or don't notice them, they'd reach the mainland and start an infestation. The Queen had been kept captive in the Antarctic pyramid for thousands of years. She was frozen and then briefly thawed out every predator hunt so she could lay eggs. But when the humans took the plasmacasters, the drones became uncontrollable and managed to seek out and free their queen. After escaping her shackles, she made it to the surface before the explosion and attacked Lex and Scar. The two working together defeated her and she was dragged to the bottom of the freezing ocean, but she mortally wounded the last predator in the process. So in order for the Queen to live, let's say during the end fight she kills both Scar and Lex. With the pyramid destroyed, she wouldn't go back that way, so she would have to venture out in search of somewhere to lay eggs and start a new hive. Similar to the Grid scenario, wildlife would be around, but probably not numerous enough to sustain a whole hive. She'd probably search until coming across the Wayland ship, and then she'd go on board, kinda like how in the end of Aliens, when that queen hides on the dropship. Then once she's stored away, she'll begin to lay eggs, and some facehuggers would be born, and impregnate the crew, creating a hive on the ship. Perhaps the ship would have set off, and then it would be like in The Lost World when the ship crashes into the dock and the T-Rex escapes, but with Xenomorphs instead. The Predalien was born from the Scar Predator after he died and his body brought aboard the ship. It then made its way onto a scout ship which detached from the main vessel, and it attacked the Yautja on board and caused it to crash into Earth. It landed by the town of Gunnison and began a xenomorph outbreak. An elite cleanup crew predator named Wolf was dispatched to deal with the xenomorphs, and the Predalien fought him, but a nuke was dropped by a fighter jet, destroying the town and all the aliens with it. coming up with a theory for how the Predalien could survive is a bit trickier, as they end up nuking the whole town, so it would most likely be killed no matter what. Maybe if the Xenomorphs stayed in the sewer and they weren't discovered, or perhaps if the Predalien killed the Predator in the sewer, then they wouldn't have fled into the streets above. But I think sooner or later the Xenos would make their presence known as they start overrunning the town. An interesting detail is that when the Colonel is talking to the Sheriff over the radio, on the monitor he's looking at, it has the OWLF name on it, so he must be connected to them in some way. The OWLF, or Otherworldly Lifeforms, was the name of the agency from Predator 2 who were trying to capture the City Hunter Predator, so they would already know what a Yautja is by that point. And here he is looking at a Xenomorph on the screen, so they probably want to learn about them too. Do you think they already know of the Xenomorphs, or do you think this is the first time they've seen them? If you found this theory interesting, then make sure to check out my other videos about what would happen if the Predators survived the movies. Remember to like the video for the time and effort it took me to make it, and become a member to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.